Good morning, everyone. It is January 19th. It is a Wednesday at about 10 o'clock in the morning. We had a good class yesterday, and I appreciated all of the good discussion. I'm making a follow-up video just to make sure that we clarify a few points and that everybody is good to go and feeling comfortable. So I want to go into screen share mode. In part, I also want to thank you for a good discussion because some of the questions you raised pointed to very specific things that I needed to specify in the process. So I'm going to go into the Technology Assignment 1. This is, I updated these directions, the procedures today. Nothing that I'm doing is going to impact your grade. And like I indicated yesterday, this is in a sense, a practice assignment because I want us to become comfortable with the process and how things are going to be set up. In a sense, in a very real sense, every one of these folders is empty in this case, but we're going through the process of developing them because we'll use this folder structure throughout. So 1 through 5 all remain the same. I didn't change anything in that because it all pretty much makes sense. I did one thing I had not specified, which I talked about in class and was necessary for the overall class, and it was in the general assignment guidelines, but it wasn't in this specific assignment, and it was useful to have that, was to create a folder, a class folder, a new class folder, and the naming convention for that would follow our general guidelines. In this case, it would be 22SP_media201. Of course, in subsequent semesters, it will be named per that semester. But that structure will work well for you, and that sort of naming convention will work well for a variety of things. Then I actually rearranged the procedures just a little bit, and I actually just dealt with the permissions issue right up front. That way you deal with them on the main folder as opposed to within each subfolder. It's actually easier to deal with in that part in that way. So right click, share on the class folder and either, and so I gave you two options in this case, share it with me with view comment, view/comment access using my email address. That's the one good way. Or set the permissions to anyone with this link may access. I think actually option 2 is better. And that's an aspect, sort of a process that I'm just exploring in this class. And it's useful for you to think about when you're managing your own folder structures and how to manage permissions for a whole bunch of files, right, in large teams. So this is a useful, very much a useful exercise for you to go through and to get a sense of what it feels like to be on the submission, right, sort of submitting assignments, end of things. That way you get a sense of what it's like to manage that folder structure as well. So, thinking about that, I actually prefer option 2. Part of the reason is because if you decide to send access, asking, for example, one of your friends to, or something like that, to look over an assignment, you don't have to add them individually. You send them the link and they have access. Then create a new folder or subfolder in that class folder, the class folder being step 6 above, and title it per our class guidelines, 22SP_media201 techassignment1 drive folder structure Norton Todd. Obviously use your own last name and first name. And then within that, creates 4 subfolders, source, sequence, meta, export. It really doesn't matter what order they go in. You just know what their use is. You could reorder them. That's perfectly fine. I don't see any reason why you can't. But that is something that, right, you might bump into problems with if you work with other people. They might want them in a different order. But we'll not deal with that for now. I'm going to pause on those directions then and then go into my own, right, sort of my version of this. And so I have a 22SP. I set up a 22SP Media 201. And in that, I created a 22SP_media 201 techassignment1 drive folder structure norton.todd. Right. So that's what I was talking about. And so then you go into there and it's export media or meta, sequence, and source. Like I said, it doesn't really matter the order they come in a sense, sort of that ordering, the ordering of that really doesn't really impact the functionality. It's if you come from sort of a folder structure approach, like Microsoft might use, you're very accustomed to that. And so in a similar way, I'm going to back out then, and I'm going to create a new assignment while we're here. And it's for career assignment 2. excuse me, career assignment one. And I don't remember the full last name on the end of that for the time. So for the time being, I'm just going to leave that because I think it's pathway U and then norton.todd. Not .todd, Norton Todd. So I would open that up and I would do the same 4 folders. So that's what it would look like. That's what that folder structure would look like. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment. That's what that folder structure process looks like. You could, once you set the permissions for your main folder, every folder that you create within that will adopt those standard permissions. And so you can just create, you could literally go through and create all of your folder structure for this entire class right now. And you could just then start populating. Once you actually create documents, you could just start populating those documents in. So in this case, I'm going to back up and go back to technology assignment one and go back to, excuse me. So this is what that, right? This is what the folder structure would look like inside of that. I'm going to go back. I need to share to a different screen. I apologize. I need to go to this screen, the directions. Nope, it's over one. Sorry, it was hidden behind my Zoom. So then once you do all of that, open techassignment1 in your course space in Canvas. I did, and I actually, to make things easier, I actually did a quick screen clip from it. This is what that looks like right here. Click Start Assignment. In the text box, enter the active link to either. And for this assignment, I'm giving you the option. I addressed this in the email yesterday. Either to the assignment folder, i.e. Tech Assignment 1, or to the subfolders within it. I realized yesterday after class that some of you may have already submitted, and you may have just submitted an active link to the assignment folder and not to the subfolders, in which case that's perfectly fine. We're actually going to revisit that, as I indicated in the email. We're going to revisit that and discuss the process that we want to use as a class, so that way we're all using a similar process. So that is those are the updates for that assignment. I updated them in the directions, or the procedures as we're calling them. Once again, if you've already done all of this, do not worry about it. You've already submitted it. You are perfectly fine. If you want to resubmit, you certainly can. But we're going to have some grace on this first assignment process, because really what I'm hoping to accomplish is working out all of the technology and the process things in this first assignment where there's no documents involved. There's nothing involved except setting up a folder structure. The reason for that is, as I indicated yesterday in class, I had students last semester who had problems with this folder structure throughout, and they ended up losing points because sooner or later, right? I mean, we've set the expectation that that's how we're going to set things up, and it also just created delays in grading because I wouldn't have access, and then I would have to ask for access, and so on and so forth. So I want to take care of that in this first assignment where there's no documents involved. So have a fantastic day. I'm actually going to be, I will send out an additional announcement for career assignment 1 here in just a few minutes. Have a great day.